We just heard the previous presenter about the awesomeness of building something interesting and a more comfortable questionnaire and feedback. Well, now the theme is about some minor deal about understanding your customer. And about that, we're going to have Shira Abel from Hunter and Bard taking the stage and sharing us with some closer details. Here's the clicker, and let's give a big applause, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy.
Hi.
Perfect.
Okay. Back. How many of you have products? 1, 2, 3. Okay, a few. Oh, by the way, I wanted to say thank you for me being in Finland. I found out right before I came out that I had my DNA tested and found out I was 1% Finnish. I'm kidding you not. So there you go. So we're going to be talking today about behavior. All right, and I am the CEO of a marketing agency, and we work with companies in order to pull in market share and build leads. We're going to be talking about why the behavior works. So we have chemicals in our body. We've got endorphins, serotonin, cortisol, oxytocin, and I'm losing people all over the place. Okay, awesome. Endorphins, you feel endorphins when you're running, when you're playing games, okay? You know what? Turning all of this off. How do I block it? Okay. Everyone get up. Everyone, up, up, up. Who has a stopwatch? You've got a stopwatch. Okay. You got it? Everyone raise up your arms. Stopwatch for 2 minutes. Okay, why are we doing this? It's a brain hack. Ma'am, if you're sitting there, up, arms up. Yes, I watch the audience. I'm one of those horrible teachers that actually watches the audience. Arms up. Now, why are we doing this? It's a brain hack, all right? When your body is filled with cortisol and you're totally, totally stressed out, put your arms up for 2 minutes and it'll hack your brain and fill you with endorphins. What do you do when you win a race? You go like this. What do you do when you get an account that you're really excited about? You go like this. You're like, yeah, right? Okay, arms up. So, I have 2 sons. My oldest has a neurological cognitive language disorder. And when he was 9 years old, I get a phone call from his teacher, and she said, I have no idea what to do with Aiden. When he knows the answer, he will not raise his hand in class. There's nothing he will do. He will not raise his hand in class. He won't talk in class. He won't ask questions. I had just seen Amy Cuddy's TED Talk, Fake It Until You Become It. Okay, it's an amazing TED Talk. And she talks about a power pose. I do behavior for a living. I'm a marketer. So I had my sons every morning raise their arms on the way to school as we drove to school. And I had them do affirmations as well. I will work hard. I will concentrate in class. I will participate in class. I will be nice. That was for my other son. And every morning, arms up for 2 minutes. And after a month, we get a phone call from the teacher. And the teacher said, I have no idea what happened. His behavior is completely changed. He's participating in class. He's asking questions. He's self-advocating. And his behavior is like a normal kid. He was doing the homework and everything in class. He wasn't acting like he couldn't do it. Okay. So, as I said, I have 2 sons. My other son is really fast. He gets everything really quickly. He understands everything that's going on. At the end of the school year, he had to fill out a form, and the form said, I need to work on. And Sean said, I need to work on nothing because I'm smarter than everyone in the class other than my teacher. So with great power comes great responsibility. So use this wisely. Okay. Now, why do we need this? What you just felt was endorphins, all right? Fills your body, makes you feel high, makes you more likely to ask a question, okay? And I like talking with an audience instead of at an audience. So if you have a question, look at me, raise your hand, or just shout it out and I'll answer it. Dopamine. How many of you wake up with your phone next to you and look at your phone? Okay, you're addicted to dopamine. Every like, every comment, every heart on Instagram, dopamine. And this is how you build a hook into your product. Dopamine is a variable reward. It gets triggered by a variable reward. And this is the importance in it, all right? Pinterest, you like some of the pictures but not all of the pictures? That's the variable reward you're looking for. Serotonin. You buy a product of a brand that makes you feel really good, something that you've been aiming for and you didn't think you'd ever be able to get. You finally get it. You are filled with serotonin, okay? Another thing about serotonin is when you watch somebody do something good, you're more likely to do something good yourself. So this is in branding, this is in your name, this is in the type of companies you collaborate with. Oxytocin comes from all of the things that you're taking care of somebody else. So they call it the mommy chemical, because your body gets flooded with oxytocin when you have kids. Now, there's yet to be, yeah.
Talk to it. Great. I'm wondering, when I'm looking at my phone in the morning, the first thing, but I'm checking my emails and my team chat, what am I addicted to then? Dopamine?
Yeah, you're addicted to dopamine. Every time you end up getting any type of, every interruption that you get, every notification you get on your phone, and then you check it, dopamine, because you're not expecting it. So an unexpected email, something like this, always dopamine. Wait, did I get the answer? Get the answer, get the answer, got the answer. Okay, dopamine. Here it's oxytocin, there's no way to build it into a product, but what you can do is you could build it into an environment. So say you've got layoffs at work or some kind of stress, or you've just gone through a really, really, really hectic time, do some corporate social responsibility, go paint a school, do some volunteer work. You'll bring up the entire oxytocin of the office at one time, and you'll build a more cohesive unit. Cortisol is the stress chemical. When your body has cortisol in it, you make worse decisions. You don't feel good. You're making, like, you know when you've had a really bad day and nothing seems to have gone right, and then you go and do something and that thing was stupid, and you're just like, why did I do that? That's cortisol. And cortisol, when cortisol floods your body, nothing feels good. Well, that arms up for 2 minutes, cuts off the cortisol. So if you had a meeting with an investor and it didn't go well, and you have another meeting with another investor later on that day, 2 minutes, arms up before that second meeting, okay? Now, action triggers. What do you want to do? You want to build evangelists. And when I was studying at Kellogg, there was a class, social dynamics and networks, okay? And there was a case study from Google. And in this case study, the engineers were figuring out from a stock market when projects were going to be finished. And they got money and they got t-shirts. Now, when they didn't get the money, they didn't ask for it. These are Google engineers, they make enough money. So they're not going to ask for the money. But when they didn't get the t-shirts, they were pissed. Where's my t-shirt? I want my t-shirt. These t-shirts were special. They showed the level of expertise of the people who were wearing them, and they wanted their t-shirt. They wanted to show off what they know. This is where your evangelists are. If you're paying them, they're reps, not evangelists. Be very careful about that. As soon as you bring money into an equation, people think, is it worth my time? And it becomes a financial economy. So another example, there was a case study somewhere in Northern Europe where they went to two groups and said, we have to put a nuclear power plant somewhere in the country. If we give you 6 weeks' salary, can we put it outside of this town? And to another group they said, can we put it outside of the town for the good of the country? Notice, two differences. One, you're volunteering it, and the other one, they're offering to pay you. 25% said yes when they were offered to pay. 50% said yes when they were volunteering. People are more likely to do good things for the good of others than they are necessarily for the money. And what are you looking for? You're creating a brand in order to have the first choice brand effect. My example for this in America is typically ketchup, because I have a son that eats ketchup with everything. And we just go to the store, we see Heinz Organic, and we grab it. And there is no processing in our brain. None. On the other hand, if we were to go to somewhere else and there was not Heinz Organic or no Heinz at all, our brain would suddenly have to process, because we wouldn't know what else to get. Well, this is what you want. You want your brand to be the decision that doesn't have to be made. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay? You want your brand to be so synonymous with the item or whatever it is that you do that it's not even in consideration that you take somebody else. Of course my phone is Apple. Of course my computer is Apple. Something else? What else is there? I'm going to have Apple. And other people feel that way about Google. How many of you know BJ Fogg? No. Okay. BJ Fogg, behavior equals motivation, ability, and trigger. This stuff is really important when it comes to your products. Okay? So I'm going to give you an example. Okay, behavior. I kiss my boys every morning when I wake up. That's my behavior, all right? So what's my motivation? I love my children. My ability? I'm in Helsinki. My sons are in Silicon Valley. I cannot do it while I'm here, okay? Trigger? I'm still waking up in the morning. Behavior equals motivation, ability, and trigger. If you make something too hard, you can't do it. What do you want your users to do? All right, Sitar talked about UX. Well, this has a lot to do with this, all right? Design is important. What do you want your users to do? On the other hand, sometimes you want to make things hard. How many of you use LinkedIn? Okay, and you know LinkedIn who viewed my profile? Yeah? Well, why is that list not on the homepage? Because if they put it on the homepage, it would be too easy. They know your motivation is high for this, all right? What's your behavior? Vanity. I want to go see who viewed my profile. Who's looking at me, right? My motivation is vanity. My ability, I just go and click in. But I have to click deeper into the site. They have just primed me. Because I have to click deeper into the site, I am now somebody who clicks deeper into LinkedIn. That makes me more likely to click other places inside of the site, which gets them more page views, all right? The trigger is the email that they send or your own curiosity. It's either an external or internal trigger, depending on how often you check it. The hook. How many of you know Nir Eyal's model, The Hook? Okay. Do you know how it works? Yeah? Okay. So let's talk about Pinterest. In the hook model, I had a blog about interior design. I get an email, a personal email, from the Pinterest team when they first started. So I have an external trigger, the email. The action, I go in and check out the site. The variable reward, at the first time, there wasn't any. I wasn't thrilled by anything there. I didn't dislike anything there. I left. I get another email. We've improved things. I go and check again. Same action. This time, I see a couple pictures that I like. By seeing a few pictures that I like and not liking every picture, I get dopamine. A little dose of dopamine every time I see something that I like. The investment is the time I spend looking. Since I have done this action once, I am now more likely to do it again. I have been primed. Okay? So then I keep getting emails, and I keep going back every month, something like this, until one day I wake up in a Saturday morning and I think to myself, what's on Pinterest? And my external reward, or my external hook, becomes an internal hook, because I decided. I woke up and I didn't need an email, I just went straight to the site. And I've got 38 more seconds, and I told them I was going to go 5 minutes over, because I have to talk about this slide. We've all got various action triggers, all right? And normally I talk about two different cultures. I talk about Germany and I talk about Israel. I lived in Israel for 18 years, and I've spent quite a bit of time in Germany, and I really like Germany. I actually plan on living there someday. So I'm going to talk about Israel and Germany, and now I am completely over time. Reward, status, achievement, self-expression, competition, and altruism. Now, why is this important? You have to think about what your users are looking for. And in Israel, it's an achievement-oriented culture. In Germany, it's a status-oriented culture. which is fine. They like their cars, they like their watches, they like their clothes, they like their status. Israel has one of the highest education rates in the country. We've got second only to Silicon Valley on NASDAQ, tons of startups and all of this, right? Two different mindsets, achievement and status, very close but different. In Germany, if you've had a startup and you've failed, you'll never raise again, or it'll be very difficult. It's changing, but they're still not there yet. For the most part, if you've closed your startup, you will not be raising again. In Israel, if you've closed your startup, they're like, okay, when are you doing it again? So on the other hand, there's two sides to every coin. In Germany, if you've exited your startup and you never need to work again, they're like, yeah, you're not going to work again? You're just going to enjoy life? That's cool. In Israel, if you say, well, you know, I'm just going to enjoy my life, they're like, wait, what? No, wait, when are you going to do something else? You can't just not do something. That's not, why, really? They don't take it seriously. Achievement-oriented, status-oriented, two sides to every coin. Now, why do I say this? The advertising for Kia in Germany is the anti-status car. What your customers do is how you message them, and this is how you pull them in. So this is really important to messaging and also how you build your products. And this talk is actually a lot longer, but that's all I'm going to give you for now. Ukaichu is an amazing resource. If you're interested in things like this, check out that website and you'll get a lot deeper. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was
Pleasure.
really great. Thank you. So just quickly, as we all hear and speaking about the customers and the pleasureness, and for many of the entrepreneurs here to be able to reach that customer as well, and in addition to building the whole service or product, they should also make it comfortable for the investors, that we have the judges. So would you have some practical guide for the entrepreneurs here to make it comfortable for the investor to increase that likeliness?
Okay, if you know what your investors look like, okay, put people in your deck that look like your investors. Make the names of the examples of the people in your deck to be similar, but not the exact same, as the names of your investors. Little subtle things of social proof that we don't actually register, but totally work. So these would be two things that I would recommend you do. Another thing is, and I use this in airports all the time, offer them something. So if I know that like I'm a pound over and I'll bring gum or Altoids, I'll offer it to the woman at the counter, and she always has to say no, or the guy at the counter, whoever. They always have to say no, and you've just built up reciprocity. So then you put your baggage on, they see you're a little over, they're like, let it through. So these are things that you could do. Offer them something when you first meet them, gum, whatever. Even if they say no, you've just built up reciprocity. Make the pictures similar to them, and make the name similar.
Thank you very much. Shira, Abel, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big applause. Thank you very much. Woo! Thank you very much.